This is Ryan Winkler. The Committee on Rules and Legislative Administration will come to order. Committee staff has indicated to me that a quorum is present, and the first order of business will be for the committee legislative assistant to take the roll. All members will go unmuted, and the committee legislative assistant will call the roll alphabetically.
Representative Kerr.
Present.
Representative Doubt.
I'm here.
Representative Albright.
Present.
Representative Baker.
Here.
Representative Becker-Finn.
Present.
Representative Carlson.
Present.
Representative Jaskowski.
Present.
Representative Freiberg.
Present.
Representative Garofalo.
Yes.
Representative Hassan. Representative Hassan. Representative Howard.
Here.
Representative Lilly. Representative Lilly.
Here.
Representative New.
Here.
Representative Olson.
Here.
Representative O'Neill.
Here.
Representative Kowalski.
Here.
Representative Pinto.
Present.
Representative Schultz.
Present.
The roll is complete.
Committee administrator will now mute the line, and we will then resume.
You have been muted. To unmute yourself, press the star key twice.
Okay. The first item of business before the Rules Committee today is a discussion of the remote committee process. I first want to note that in addition to the members who answered the roll call, nonpartisan staff present includes Patrick McCormick from House Research, Barry LaGrave from House Public Information Services, Mike Spiker, House IT Director, and Kelly Knight, House Human Resources Director. Partisan staff are also present in the room. Members should have received a packet via email that includes a number of items, including meeting minutes, the meeting agenda, our draft remote hearing guidelines, the text of Rule 10.01, briefing memo from House Research on House Rule 10.01, 2 resolutions related to employee matters, and these written testimony submitted by the Minnesota Coalition on Open Government Information, a federal labor poster, and a letter from MMLA. Those items were all provided to members at the outset. I should also note at the beginning that this hearing is being conducted pursuant to Rule House 10.01, and we will proceed next with the presentation on the remote hearing process. As a reminder to members, if you wish to be recognized by the chair to speak or ask questions of presenters, the way to do so is to email the committee administrator. The email is rules@house.mn, R-U-L-E-S, rules@house.mn. And the committee administrator will then notify me that you wish to be recognized. And as usual through a committee hearing, all conversation with testifiers or other members has to be relayed through the chair so that it can be properly recorded for future use. This is the first time that Rule 10.01 has been used, and as I stated on the floor of the House when we enacted it, I do this work in this manner with great reluctance, but see no alternative. We have to keep staff and legislators safe and healthy during this pandemic. We need to continue doing the work of the public, and we need to do so in an open and transparent manner as far as we possibly can. That is why we have initiated this meeting. It is possible for members of the public to hear this live streamed on the House website, on YouTube, and on Facebook, and it will be recorded and included in future legislative history recordings that are preserved at the State Law Library. So this will be an official meeting of the Rules Committee. We will take action on the meeting minutes and on resolutions, and we are testing out this method so that other committees may go forward with their COVID-19 related work in the days and weeks ahead. So I do appreciate everyone's patience. I particularly want to acknowledge that some of the transitions that we are used to making between speaking order will be awkward at times, and we are learning from the process as best we possibly can. We are committed to open debate. We are committed to public input, and we are committed to doing so in an orderly fashion. And I want to acknowledge the work of Mike Spiker, House IT Director, Barry LaGrave, Director of Public Information Services, Will Blauvelt, the Committee Administrator, and Binta Conte, the Committee Legislative Assistant, for all of the background work that they have put into making this possible today. It bears repeating that we are only doing this because we are under extreme circumstances. And this is not the kind of method of operation that the Minnesota House of Representatives should use going forward, except in a situation like a global pandemic. In fact, House Rule 10.01 is specific and time-limited in its application and the permission it provides us to act in this remote fashion. And so this is not precedent-setting, but it is a historic moment, and I do want to acknowledge all of the work and the cooperation of House members in both parties and House staff, nonpartisan, partisan, in making this possible. So I'm going to next turn to Barry LaGrave, Director of Public Information Services, for a short presentation that he has prepared.
Mr. Chair and members, for the record, I'm Barry LaGrave, Director of the Nonpartisan House Public Information Services Department. Besides providing television services for the House, our office provides photography services for members and staff, and we produce Session Daily, which is our online news and information service. We also have a general information desk at the State Office building, and we have a robust presence on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram with the social media handle MNHouseInfo. As to our involvement with this remote hearing process, we are treating this remote hearing as we would any hearing our office covers, both through our writing and our television services. On the writing side of things, we have a Session Daily writer covering this hearing from home to comply with only essential employees being in the State Office building. That news story will be remotely edited, posted online, and distributed via our department's electronic mailing list of close to 4,000 subscribers. And we will distribute the news story through our Twitter and Facebook feeds. Our Twitter account has just under 13,000 followers. On the TV side of things, we are again treating this remote hearing as we normally do, with the obvious exception that we do not have live TV cameras from within the House committee hearing room. 3 of our TV staff are needed to be in the State Office building for the control room for this production. Our TV production includes the live audio and the same or very similar supporting visual graphics, such as the committee name, agenda points, member names and information, news and Session Daily headline crawls, and if we have them, the names of the testifiers. We live stream our coverage online via the House website and on our department's YouTube channel. One method we are adding today for this hearing, this remote hearing, is live streaming on our Facebook page. We have made only limited use of Facebook Live in the past, in part because we can only Facebook Live one event at a time. However, we are looking into ways to expand the use of Facebook Live. While we are streaming this one event today via our HTV1 streaming channel, the House actually has two TV control rooms, the other being HTV2. As a result, the House is able to live video stream up to two events at one time. And as with all of our live video streaming, we are providing live closed captioning. It is important to note that no matter whether a hearing is taking place in a House hearing room with TV cameras or from a remote site, computer video processing results in an approximate 27-second delay in the video stream versus the live event. So someone who is interested in just monitoring the hearing can successfully do so by watching the video stream. However, those who want to participate by testifying should access the real-time live audio. And by the way, the video processing delay has always been the case and is not a result of the House holding a remote hearing. And as we do with all TV productions, this meeting video will be archived on the House website and on our department's YouTube page. So again, a remote hearing only minimally affects how House Public Information Services covers a hearing. And lastly, our department has been working with other House departments as the House continues to investigate and test technology that will allow the House to hold remote hearings that are broadly accessible to the public. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions the committee may have.
We do not presently have anyone on the list from the committee to ask a question of Mr. LaGrave. Again, if committee members want to be recognized, they should email the committee administrator rules@house.mn. I will then go on to the next testifier, and if we have questions for Mr. LaGrave or for the next testifier, members can send in those emails while the next presenter is speaking. So this is a member of the public who emailed us requesting an opportunity to testify before the committee. His name is Matt Elling. He is from the Minnesota Coalition on Government Information, and he may proceed with his testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Matt Elling, Minnesota Coalition on Government Information. Mr. Chairman and members, we submitted written comments thanking members for the adoption of Rule 10.01, but we just have two supplemental technical observations for the record, which I'll make very briefly. First, now that the House has adopted procedures for implementing remote meetings with public testimony, we'd like to encourage the House to apply those procedures to all committee meetings going forward, as that would align with the statutory requirements set out in MnSTAT 3.055 to make all meetings of the legislature, including its committee meetings, open to the public. In addition, we would note that since Rule 10.01 effectively implements the interactive provision of the legislature's open meeting law, we would encourage the House to continue to waive the marginal cost language that you'll find in Subdivision 1A, as you're doing today, and to continue to make these remote legislative hearings available to the public for free over the Internet during this time of a pandemic emergency. So again, we thank members for the bipartisan work that resulted in the adoption of Rule 10.01. We'd like to thank the Public Information Service for the technical work and support they're providing, and we wish everyone good health and good luck in the days ahead. So that concludes my testimony, Mr. Chairman. I'd be happy to take questions if there are any.
Thank you, Mr. Elling. We do not currently have anyone seeking recognition to ask questions of you or Mr. LaGrave. The final comment I will make on this, members, is that we do intend to move forward with a video-based committee hearing process as our next step. We wanted to use available House technology and get started on this as quickly as we can, and we are exploring the best technical options for committees to meet, whether that is by Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or some other technology product that is available on the market. So that is the next phase of this, as well as beginning to expand this capability to more committee hearings. I also want to note for the record that Representative Hassan has joined the meeting and is present. The next issue on the agenda, or item on the agenda, members, is approval of the minutes of March 10th, 2020. Members were provided with a copy of those minutes, and Representative Herr moves approval of the minutes for March 10th, 2020. If there is any discussion, please immediately email the committee administrator, and we will wait a minute to give members an opportunity to signal to the committee administrator via email that they wish to make a comment on the minutes. We are not so far seeing anybody with comments on the minutes. Okay. Seeing no comments on the minutes, the committee administrator will unmute the members, and the committee legislative assistant will take the roll on the minutes.
Representative Winkler,
Aye.
Representative Herr,
Yes.
Representative Dowd,
Aye.
Representative Albright,
Aye.
Representative Baker,
Aye.
Representative Becker-Finn,
Aye.
Representative Carlson,
Aye.
Representative Drazkowski,
Aye.
Representative Freiberg,
Yes.
Representative Garofalo,
Yes.
Representative Hassan,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Lilly,
Yes.
Representative New,
Aye.
Representative Olson,
Aye.
Representative O'Neill,
Aye.
Representative Kolowski,
Aye.
Representative Pinto,
Aye.
Representative Schultz.
Aye.
$19 yes, 0 no.
There being 19 ayes and 0 nays, the motion to approve the minutes of March 10th, 2020 is adopted. The minutes are approved. Next on the agenda is approval of House policies. These are in the form of resolution that members received ahead of time. The 2020 R20 resolution for emergency telecommuting policy and the 2020 R21 emergency sick leave during widespread illness policy. We will have Kelly Knight, Director of House Human Resources, present on both of those resolutions. And again, members, if you have questions, please email rules@house.mn in order to be recognized. Ms. Knight, if you would please proceed with your presentation.
Yes. Mr. Chair and members, my name is Kelly Knight. I am the Director of Human Resources for the House. Effective, the first policy you have in front of you is the emergency telecommuting policy, and effective March 16th, the House instituted an emergency telecommuting policy as a result of COVID-19 and in our attempts to adhere to the Minnesota Department of Health guidelines. The policy allows those who have met social distancing guidelines to either work from home or in the office. It allows the department directors the ability to work with staff through alternate work areas, alternate schedules, or telecommuting in order to achieve the goals of social distancing. It also allows employees who fall into high-risk categories the ability to work with HR or their department director if their position does not allow for telecommuting. And if staff are sick and unable to work, they should record it as sick. If they are on vacation, that the time should be recorded accurately. It also makes clear that supervisors may need to reassign work in order to meet the department needs.
Ms. Knight, can I just interrupt you for a second? We need to mute lines, and then you can proceed again. I'll let you know when you can go ahead.
You have been muted. To unmute yourself, press the star key twice.
Okay, Ms. Knight, you may proceed again with your testimony.
Mr. Chair and members, that is actually the quick summary of the emergency telecommuting policy.
Please proceed with the emergency sick leave policy presentation as well.
Mr. Chair and members, you have in front of you the emergency sick leave during widespread illness. Normally, the LCC has statutory authority over changes to the sick leave found in the legislative plan for employee benefits that extends to staff of the House, Senate, and the LCC. In response to our planning for H1N1, a provision was put into place that gave permission to the appointing authority to establish an emergency sick leave policy. At the same time as the emergency telecommuting policy was put into place, the emergency sick leave was put into place to address any staff needing to take COVID-related sick and who do not have enough hours in their sick balance or sick bank to cover their time away. It allows them to actually have a negative sick bank. The negative balance would be reduced going forward as staff actually earn sick hours. However, if an employee leaves, the negative balance would be satisfied by charging vacation comp, non-exempt OT, or pay. And this is how currently our sick bank works for all new hires. The policy currently extends until June 30th, but can be extended.
Thank you, Ms. Knight. I do not see any questions or members who are seeking recognition. And so I'm going to make a motion, Representative Herr is making a motion to adopt the 2020 R20 and the 2020 R21 House policies through resolution form. And I will ask the committee legislative assistant to take the roll on that Herr motion.
Mute off.
Representative Winkler,
Aye.
Representative Herr,
Aye.
Representative Dowd,
Aye.
Representative Albright,
Aye.
Representative Baker,
Aye.
Representative Becker-Finn,
Aye.
Representative Carlson,
Aye.
Representative Drazkowski,
Aye.
Representative Freiberg,
Yes.
Representative Garofalo,
Yes.
Representative Hassan,
Yes.
Representative Howard,
Yes.
Representative Lilly,
Aye.
Representative New, Representative New,
Aye.
Representative Olson,
Aye.
Representative O'Neill,
Aye.
Representative Pulowski,
Aye.
Representative Pinto,
Aye.
Representative Schultz.
Aye.
19 aye, 0 nay.
There being 19 ayes and 0 nays, the motion prevails, and the 2020 R20 resolution and the 2020 R21 resolutions are adopted. Give a minute for the staff to mute all lines, and then we will proceed to one last item.
To unmute yourself, press the star key twice.
The last item we will have on the agenda is a brief presentation from Kelly Knight to explain the federal actions and the flyer that is being posted and provided to members and staff.
Mr. Chair and members, in your packet, you have also received a flyer from the Federal Department of Labor detailing a very recent change in law that actually takes effect today. There was a question whether or not this law actually applied to us, which In consultation with House Counsel, we have determined that it does. As such, I have a requirement to notify all staff, but wanted to share it with the Rules Committee prior to sending it out, especially since on the surface it could appear to conflict with the emergency sick leave policy that was just approved. HR and House Counsel are still working out many of the administrative details associated with this law change. NCSL actually held an informational webinar late yesterday and is still attempting to answer many of the questions that came out of that session. While it is not typically our practice to send out a notice of policy change prior to the administrative piece being fully vetted, we felt that the important nature of the COVID-19 leave warranted that we send it out as soon as possible and then follow up with the administrative process later.
Thank you, Ms. Knight. I do not have any requests from members to ask her questions or to make any final comments. We have concluded our agenda for today. I will give another 20 seconds or so for members to send an email if they would like to be recognized, and otherwise we will be ready to adjourn very shortly. Okay, seeing nothing from members and there being no further testimony or items before the agenda, the committee is adjourned.